a lot of people have been very, very angry with me about my opinions regarding Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback Dak Prescott. I've been called a flip-flopper. I've been called a hater. I think the worst, the meanest thing anyone said to me is they accused me of something really offensive. They said, "You're starting to sound like people on TV." That's the one thing I hope I never sound like. There's one thing I promise on this show that I will always guarantee. You will always hear what's honestly my opinion. I will never sugarcoat things. I'll never lie to you guys. I have no reason to. That's the brand I want to build is I'm honest. If I'm wrong, I admit it. When I'm right, I talk about it. You can always depend on me being as honest as I can be. I do not have a favorite team. I know that blows people's minds. They can't even imagine what it's like to not have a favorite team. I don't have one. I don't have an allegiance. I don't care. I love the game of football. I love good stories. I love following the storylines. That's what I get enjoyment out of. And I try to be fair to everybody I can. I want to be as fair as I can, and I say what I believe. I make a lot of videos, and I think people miss some of the things I say. I really do. They'll watch one video, then not pay attention for another month, and then a month later, my opinion's different, and they're like, "How did your opinion change? One month you said this, the next month you said this. How? Which one is it?" It's like, well, you missed the evolution of my opinion. I think if someone watched everything I said, which is impossible, I don't blame anybody. If you missed something, I don't blame you. I make a lot of content. But I'm sure if people watched everything I said and everything I did, they go, "Oh, that makes sense why Zach feels this way about Dak Prescott." So currently, right now, I do not think that Dak Prescott is an elite quarterback, and I would not pay him $34 million a year. I would not. Russell Wilson makes $35 million a year. I would not pay Russell Wilson comparable money to Dak Prescott. I would not pay Dak Prescott 34. If Russell makes 35, there's no way Dak makes 34. There's just a bigger gap between those two players. Dak Prescott's not elite. And I don't know why that's so offensive to say. Why does it makes Cowboys fans furious when I say that? He's not. It's my observation. However, I like Dak Prescott. He does things I like watching. He's a good leader. He's great in interviews. He makes some good plays. He's very solid. Obviously, he's won a lot of games in the NFL. Dak Prescott. I've never said Dak Prescott's terrible. I don't hate Dak Prescott. I'm not a hater. I like him. He does good things. He's just not elite. I don't know why that's so controversial. But the question is, how did we get here to this point? At the beginning of the year, I was very, very optimistic and excited about the Dallas Cowboys. I predicted them to go 10-6 this year, win their division. I was so overjoyed to watch Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator in Dallas, and how he would work with Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. I wanted to watch him play, and I was expecting good things. I expected him to progress and get better. And in the first 3 games, oh man, he was phenomenal. In the first 3 games of the year, Dak Prescott had 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was playing great. I made a video called "Why Dak Prescott Looks So Much Better." I praised his footwork, which I said that really helps his accuracy. As Dak Prescott goes through his read progression, having better footwork makes his throws to his 3rd, 4th, sometimes 5th reads more accurate. That's awesome. He looks like he has a plan every time. He made a great throw against the Giants. Good footwork allowed for a great throw and against man coverage deep down the left sideline. I was like, that's an impressive, great throw against the Giants. I also mentioned that one of his interceptions was not his fault. It bounced off his receiver's hands. I was trying to be as fair as I could to Dak Prescott and excited because I was seeing a player make an evolution and get a little bit better, and I was excited about that. However, when you look at those first 3 games with context, you realize, oh, those 3 games were against the Washington Redskins, the New York Giants, the Miami Dolphins. All combined, those 3 teams have a record of 3-18. 3 wins, 18 losses so far this year. With context, that success is a lot less impressive. And then week 4 happened. And week 4 was a big cornerstone in my evaluation of Dak Prescott. Upon reflection, I learned a lot from that moment. The Cowboys played against a really good New Orleans Saints defense. They lost 10-12 to the Saints. They only scored 10 points on offense. And I defended Dak. I really did. I said, look, the Saints are great on defense. The way the Saints defended the run was incredible. And I described the way that receiver Amari Cooper for the Cowboys struggled against man coverage. So Dak was solid. He had 2 really good throws. He did a good job avoiding negative plays. And then I pointed out that, well, in the game, Jason Witten had a key fumble, and Randall Cobb had a key drop on 3rd and 5. Basically, what I said was, this loss is not Dak Prescott's fault. I blamed everybody else. So the Saints are a really good team, and the people around Dak Prescott didn't deliver. And then 2 more weeks went by. And in 2 more weeks, the Cowboys lost to the Packers and then the Jets subsequently. And Dak played a little bit worse. Against the Packers, the Cowboys didn't even score in the first half. Yes, they had a couple touchdowns later in the game. They ended up losing 34-24, had a bunch of yards in garbage time. Dak had 2 touchdowns, but he also had 3 interceptions against the Packers. That's not good. And at that point, 2 weeks in a row, I should have really paid attention. Oh, wow. 2 weeks in a row, the Cowboys lost 2 games to good teams. But I said nothing. I said, okay, whatever. Let's see how the Jets game goes. And the next week against the Jets, the Cowboys lost again to the Jets. And at one point, the score was brutal. They were down by a lot. And that moment is when I realized, I need to stop making excuses for Dak Prescott. And I came out with a video. I said, Dak Prescott's not elite. We can blame his offensive line. We can blame the receivers. We can blame the coaching. We can say, well, he played against a really good defense. All silly things to criticize and silly things to say. Yeah, he played against a great defense. Why isn't Dak great? Why isn't Dak great? We need to stop making excuses for Dak Prescott. Dak is not a bad quarterback. I like Dak. He does things I like. I have not, and I've not said, I'm not saying right now, I'm not saying Dak Prescott is a bad quarterback. What I'm saying is he's not elite. I would not pay him $34 million a year. I do not understand why that's so infuriating and so controversial to say. When you pay a quarterback $34 million a year, you can't make excuses for him. If you pay Dak Prescott $22 million, make all the excuses you want. Fine. But if you make $34 million a year, too much money. That's too much money to pay Dak. If you make $34 million a year, you need to be able to win with limited teammates around you. You need to be able to overcome having teammates that aren't as good. Dak Prescott can't do that. Dak Prescott can't carry a team. Russell Wilson can win with less. Pay him $35 million a year. He can still win that way. If you pay Dak $34 million a year and he has kind of worse teammates, he ain't going to win a lot. Let me tell you now. It's, oof. And let's be honest about the Dallas Cowboys. They're 4-3. They beat the Redskins, the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Eagles, who aren't far behind those 3 teams. They're not great either. And Dak Prescott was not great. He was fine against the Saints. He was not that good at all against the Packers. Against the best teams they've played, they lost. Lost to the Saints. They lost to the Packers. Dak can't carry his team. And I know that's not really, quote, fair. But if you're going to pay a guy $34 million, an elite quarterback can win with less help. Dak Prescott can't win with less help. That's the point. I was not impressed when the Cowboys beat the Eagles. I wasn't. The Eagles aren't great. Their defense is terrible against the passing game. So that's where we are. That's the history of how we got here. That's the progression of my opinion on Dak Prescott. I like Dak. He does things I like. He's a great leader. He's a stable quarterback. He's very solid. All I'm saying is I would not give Dak Prescott a $34 million contract. He's not elite. I'm not seeing it. I don't understand how that's so crazy and awful. It shouldn't make me a hater. That's how we got here. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about Dak Prescott, and that's why I feel that way about Dak Prescott. He's beaten 3 average teams. He lost to the teams that were good. And in spite of, he is better a little bit this year than last year. Dak Prescott is not an elite quarterback. You know what I should do? I'm going to Google something. I'm going to Google the definition of elite. I was going to end the topic, but when you Google elite, what comes up? Elite. The definition of elite is this. Oh, no, that's a TV show. Elite definition is this. A select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society. Is Dak Prescott superior to everybody else in his group? Russell Wilson is. Patrick Mahomes is. Aaron Rodgers is superior. He's elite. Dak Prescott's not superior in comparison to other quarterbacks in the NFL. He's good. He's fine. But Dak Prescott, a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society. Dak Prescott's not an elite quarterback. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. And I want to be very clear and open with the audience. My YouTube channel is monetized. What that means is that some of my videos make ad revenue. It's fewer than you think. A lot of them get claimed. But in the past, I've received donations from people on Patreon and PayPal. PayPal.me/Zach Schaumler. Patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. And because I'm making ad revenue, it felt kind of weird just receiving donations. I wanted to give something back for the donations. And so people who support me on Patreon can give me $1 a month, and that allows them access to a pool where they can ask questions. If you send me questions through Patreon's DM service, you comment on one of my posts on Patreon. If you give $1 a month, you can submit questions. And with my eyeballs, I look at every single question submitted. Then at the end of my podcast, I pick the best top couple questions and read them on the show and answer them in a segment I call Ask Zach. Now, that's for people who have money and want to support me that way. If you have no money to give, no problem. I totally understand. I grew up in a mobile home. I've been a broke college kid. I totally get it. But if you want to help in some capacity at the end, you can support the show by telling your friends about it. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow by telling your friends about this show. It would mean a lot to me. If you believe in my dream and you believe in this show, tell your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. Guys, my name is Zach Schaumler. Thank you so very much, and hope you have a great day.